Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip at Trade Genius. We haven't covered Ethereum in a while, so I thought I'd cover that today. So we're going to look at the price action and see where this thing is going. So let's get into today's video.
Trade Genius.
All right, we'll look at ETH USD, so ETH in dollar terms, then we'll look at ETH in Bitcoin terms, ETH BTC. On the ETH USD, we have this pennant. So it's similar to the Bitcoin price action where it has a pennant too. Again, pretty important, I think, on this move up that we see this middle section of the pennant. We need to break above that, and I think that's going to ensure a move to this upper part of the pennant or the top trend line. We are currently in a sell mode on the daily. Okay, so that means that most moves up are going to face some resistance until that flips to a daily buy. And I would say that we're still probably, at least judging by the way the indicator works, we're probably at least 6 or 7 days away from that flipping to a buy signal. And so that would happen if we got some upward, even if it chopped a little with some upward bias, that would probably trigger. So we'll keep an eye on that. But important to know that when that is triggered short, we've already had our move from that signal complete. But then it becomes tricky because then it's a matter of, does this roll back over, or is that down cycle complete? And now we're going to work our way up into a buy cycle. Like with Bitcoin, this could definitely roll back over. This red line here is a longer term trend line that was support. So this meandering line here is a 200 period moving average. Actually, that's a 200-day simple moving average, and broke above it, created this head and shoulders formation, which draw this here. There's the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And when that neckline broke down, that created this move back down to this kind of longer term trend line, which was violated in this area. But price tends to react to that line, so we keep it up. And that's important, again, for this bottom area to hold, because if we lose that, then we're probably looking at revisiting this volume node down here, and that's between 200 and about 375. All right, so all eyes are kind of on this area here for Ethereum and Bitcoin that we hold in these levels. Again, we have a bullish fib zone here, so it's from the 540 area to the 600, and that's from this move up. And so this is the retrace, the Fibonacci retrace zone, and we look for a bounce when we get back into that. And ultimately, that target actually is there for the fib extension. And if we did get into that, then the whole crypto market's probably surging higher because you're breaking out of these consolidation patterns. So yeah, that'd be great to see, but we have to play it smart, play defensive right now until we get out of the consolidation price action. All right, let's look at the 4-hour chart. And 4-hour chart is signaled pretty choppy. And right now it's signaled short again. But this when we see the signal go down, up, down like that chop, that means that price action and volume hasn't really gotten into a very cyclical flow. And so as you can see through this whole area here, I mean, we've spent from the 24th of last month till now, we haven't really gone anywhere. So I think that's kind of indicative of what you're seeing there on the signal. So I would wait to see, obviously on the 4-hour, we are in the upper part of that channel. So I kind of look at the context of where we are in these linear regression channels, and we also are in a fairly good sized volume node. And what it could be is that we kind of drift down to the mid part of the channel and we stay in this volume node. You can see there's a ton of support in here. So in this price action, I would actually probably look at taking a stab on a pullback down to here on the 4-hour chart, and in anticipation of this thing moving back up and triggering another buy signal up, which would be good. Then you can move your stop up, because I think this area is probably going to be decent area to hold on the 4-hour time frame. And then you set your stop down in this area here, but that would keep the stop fairly tight on these 4-hour moves. Let's look at the hourly. And hourly is coming off of a buy area, so this is kind of why I'm a little bit more bullish where in regards to the 4-hour chart, because the hourly has fired in the zone that we like it to. Okay, so this is a decent spot to go long ETH USD, and your stops can be pretty tight here. Option 1 is to have your stop here. Option 2 is to have your stop here. All right, let's take a look at ETH BTC. Again, we'll go to the daily, 4-hour, and hourly. So ETH BTC, this is came up here to this resistance line that we had, didn't quite, almost touched it, rolled over. We actually exited out of this in the room, and that coincided with some news about, there was some negative news as regards to transaction speed and costs and things like that. Also, too, EOS holds a ton of Ethereum. EOS is an Ethereum competitor. And this area here is where they had moved some funds to the exchange. I believe it was Bitfinex exchange. Looks like they probably dumped some ETH and converted it either to Bitcoin or something else. But, they're not going to be shedding any tears dumping ETH holdings for, either cash or Bitcoin. So there could be future pressure on this because of that. So it's something to keep in mind. That being said, here we're looking at an area where, again, we're seeing similar to ETH USD, we're kind of consolidating in this range here, and we are still on a signal short. So I would basically be, I think for Ethereum, I would be waiting for ETH BTC, waiting for a long signal on the daily to really get back into this thing and see another cyclical move up. The dailies on this thing have been really good. Last daily was down here, and that captured a decent move up. Then it signaled here, and we got to move down. So we don't have a huge, as pronounced pennant action that we have in Bitcoin. You do have this trend line here, which goes like this. It's at the bottom of this is a lot steeper. So you kind of have a triangle as opposed to a pennant in this formation. So this is on your daily for ETH BTC. You kind of want to see it hold this line. We already did come down into the fib buy zone and bounce. So you kind of want to see this complete. But again, if we get up in here, we break through this, because this area here was such a major level of resistance. That's going to bode really well for the rest of the crypto market if we see this move up. Going into the 4-hour chart, we are on a short signal, and that's pretty bearish for ETH BTC on the upper part of the channel. My guess is that we're probably going to see a pullback somewhere into the 7,700 to 7,800, 0,700 to 0,7800 area for ETH BTC is going to be probably a likely bounce area on the 4-hour. And then on the hourly, guys, and if you're interested in these indicators or getting this linear regression channel set up, just check out our packages on tradegenius.co. We're about ready to break through this. You can see there's a little bit of resistance here. If we got through that, we may see a pop up on the hourly, and we do have an hourly buy signal. So actually this in this area here, because we're in the lower part of the channel, we actually may see a move up here. So kind of some cross currents on the different time frames, which I not usually a fan of, but sometimes that happens. So hourly looks a little bullish for a buy if it can break out of that resistance level, but we are getting a little overbought on the linear regression channel on the 4-hour. So we could just be in for some more chop. Just need to, sometimes that's trading. We have things that conflict, and so you have to take it in context. So there you have it. I think largely ETH is going to follow what Bitcoin does to a certain extent, unless there's more bad news or just a lot of continued dumping by say EOS. They, keep in mind $4 billion was raised during that ICO, so that could be an issue like we saw with the Mt. Gox holdings, where they were dumping from the in Q4. Basically, they were dumping, and that didn't help. So there you have it, guys. That's our Ethereum outlook for this week. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Please hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Trade Genius.